So, hello, dear Warren. Good morning to you. Good evening to me. I'm so glad to see you and happy that you actually allowed me to do this interview together with you. I'm honored, to be honest, because you are my first guest on my YouTube channel. And I
Mm,
hope this interview will be interesting for you and for me, and also for our followers, for our friends. Yeah. And one of the reasons why I invited you is my YouTube channel is mainly about healers. So, and let us introduce ourselves to the people, to auditorium. Warren Shepherd is a photographer, my new friend from Instagram. The fact is that I love Instagram because it allows me to meet different people from all over the world, and you are one of those. And already, the moment I saw your page, I had a feeling that this is something really unique, somebody really, really interesting. And I followed you
mm,
and I started supporting your work, and we became somehow gradually friends. Let's call me also myself as your friend. I hope so.
mm.
Yeah. And now I'm happy to see you in person, to see you smiling. And my first question would be, Warren, tell me about yourself a little bit. How would you call yourself? We know that you're a photographer. I also read on your website that you used to be a writer, yeah, or write
Yep.
fiction. And I don't want to take too much time, but how would you describe yourself? Yourself.
Well,
Let's start
first,
like this. Yeah.
first, thank you, Assel, for having me. It's an honor for me because you've got such a great positive energy, and I know you do coaching. And I think anyone who you've been so supportive and of my work on Instagram, and I just want to say that anyone who sort of enters into your orbit, I think would be so lucky to have you as that sort of
Thank
mentor,
you
sort
so
of
much.
guiding force,
Thank you.
because it's such a great energy. But yes, now let's talk about my story. I think I'm a creator. At my core, I'm a creator. I've always had an active imagination, um, and it's always kind of fueled. I've always kind of looked outside of my world. Yes, I've been writing since I was a child, and always sort of creating strange worlds and different worlds. And but more than that, I think to be a good writer, you've got to be an observer.
Mm.
And I took psychology in university because I was always fascinated by not just what people do, but why they do the things they do. I was trying to figure out what's behind that. What's their motivation? And if you can understand people, you know how to interact with them better. So it's that sort of everything's kind of tying together. So my fascination for creating my imagination, my creating worlds, writing, storytelling at its core, um, and and just observing humankind, the good and the bad, because you learn a lot from everything that goes on around you. So the photography aspect is relatively new. I'm only 2.5 years into my photography journey, and it was very unexpected. I never had a desire to do it before, but I was working a very sort of mundane job, medical career, but it gave me the freedom, the mental freedom to do other things while I was doing that. I finished my book. I had my book published. That was a huge goal, and that was such a milestone for me to achieve that. But on that job, I had a slip and fall accident, cracked my head on the sidewalk, and I couldn't do that for a while. So I started to explore different avenues. One of those avenues was photography. I thought, okay, well, if we ever go on holiday, I want to be able to let me understand photography better. So I started to teach myself. YouTube is fantastic for tutorials and anything you want to learn. If you want to learn it, you've got to be open to learning it. Because in the past, I tried to learn photography and it was too confusing. It's like, oh, what's all those settings? I don't understand. But this time I said, no, I'm going to focus. I've got the time. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do it. So I started and I learned all the technical aspects. So I had a solid foundation of that. And then from there, I thought, well, how can I monetize this? I want to make it practical. So I started with real estate photography. It's simple, harmless.
Mhm.
Nobody gets hurt. You don't involve people. You're not, because one thing that always frightened me about photographing people was, let's say it's a wedding or some special event. It's you've got one shot. I don't want to ruin that day. I don't want to do something that's going to ruin that day. So I avoided it. But then as I was doing the real estate photography and maybe I think it was photographing a clinic, and they said, "Well, can you take a picture of us, pictures of our staff?" And I thought, "Well, yeah, I can try." And I was worried, but they turned out okay. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to teach myself this. And then the more I learned about how you can tell a story with light, and I know a lot of people start with natural light, but I liked the artificial light because you can control everything and you can shape the story and you can tell the story of that person. And then I thought, how can I tell a better story of that person? So I thought, I've got to really understand that person. And that's where uh, everything that I'd done in life, every bit, the psychology background, the imagination, the storytelling, it's like all these threads were coming together and I was pulling them all together. And it just sort of made sense that this is what I can do. I want to learn about you as a photographer. If I'm photographing someone, it's not enough to just come in, pose here, do this, put your head there, move that. Anybody can do that. And especially now with AI,
Yeah.
it can be so impersonal. So what I think my selling feature is, and I don't want to say selling feature because it sounds like it's purely mercenary, where it's not, because I want to help people tell their story. It's not just for business. It can be for business, it can be for actors, but even if you just like you've had a personal milestone, going through a life change, whether it be a marriage, a separation, divorce, a weight loss, anything that makes you want to sort of um, explore that story. I want to know about that, and I
Mm.
want to know. And when I ask, always start off with a questionnaire because I want to pull out the bits that maybe you don't think are relevant, but then I can draw on that, and then it sort of triggers more questions, and then we have a discussion. And it's like you and I speaking now, except I'm doing all the talking. Sorry.
No,
Um,
no, no, no. I
uh,
don't want to interrupt because this is
you
so
know,
interesting. Yes.
well,
Well,
I think it is because I think it's so important to build that
yeah.
rapport, build that connection, build that trust, because they've got to trust. They're letting you into their life.
Mm.
The way I look at it, we are all very complex beings. We've had all kinds of experiences throughout our life. We've happiness, sadness, tragedies, successes, failures. And all of those things make us who we are. And we've learned things from them. Now, I, as a photographer, am capturing you for literally a fraction of a second at a time. So I'm getting just that sliver of life. And I want to get as much of your story in that sliver as I can.
Mm.
So I've got to know the backstory if I'm going to tell the visual story.
Wow.
So it's all it's and I love it. I love learning about the people. I love
Mm.
that part of the experience.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I was listening without interrupting and without even breathing because this is so interesting. And now I understand the reason why I actually was knocking into your door and asking for this interview. Because the moment I saw your page, I was absolutely sure that you're doing it for 20 years or at least 25
Oh,
years
thank you.
because
Thank
it's
you.
so professional. And
Thank you.
nowadays, I think photographers are the healers of the modern world. Exactly with what you said, the reason the technology, we all have our phones, we all are
Hmm.
photographers, but photography became for me more art and the art which heals, you know. So not every person can buy a camera and become a photographer. And you surprised me twice now because you said that you're a psychologist, your background
No,
is
I'm not a
psychology.
psychologist, but I did
But
study
it
psychology.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I think even those who just started, those who have this background, they're so to say to me, people who are even started, they have a very strong empathy and a very strong background as a healers. We don't go into this
Mm.
profession without reason. And the second, those people are like clairvoyants. Is this correct word I'm using? Yeah, like they can see things through, basically. And
I see what you mean. Yes, I
yeah,
know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, I like to look at, like I say, not
yeah,
just what people do, why,
yeah,
and still, even now, I'm not, I've always been an observer. I like to listen
yeah,
rather than speak, because you learn more from listening. Because sometimes it's what people say and what they don't say. Um, and I just, sometimes, especially with family, you're baffled by what sometimes those dynamics. And I wonder
hmm,
why. Why is this happening? Why is that
yeah,
happening?
mm,
Um, and there's 8 billion people on the planet. Not everybody is going to connect with everybody else, but I think we need to try and understand at least where the other people are coming from.
yeah. And also be grateful for this such meetings. And I'm extremely
Yeah,
grateful today that you shared your story, also because I think this is for me actually aha moment and also eye-opening story, because you actually shared with us that you can change your life in 2 years. You can not only become professional, but you can become really great in that. You can monetize your interests, and you can go deep by just dedicating enough time and attention to something. And nowadays people, they're either afraid to change. They say I'm too old, I'm too small, or something like that. Or they're also the lack of focus. I think people don't want to dedicate more than 2 hours to something new, and to go into something new means you need to really dedicate time and attention to study, and this is the thing
yeah.
which I think technology is disturbing us nowadays. So
I think, yeah,
yeah,
well, I mean,
yeah,
we've been in a very
yeah,
disposable society for a
yeah,
very long time, but I think even now, people have very short attention spans. The younger
yeah,
generation, they're on their phones.
yeah,
Um, I get so frustrated. You go to family gatherings and people are sitting around the table, and it's supposed to be a time to come together
yeah,
and a communal experience. And the younger generation are sitting there staring at their phones, just watching
yeah,
videos, whatever. There's a time and a place for that, fine. But you're around your family. And sometimes I want to scream that, especially when there's different generations,
yeah,
it's like these people won't be around forever. You will suddenly, your parents, your grandparents will be gone. And you are just sitting there staring at your phone and you're missing all these experiences
true.
that, yeah, my mom passed away
Mhm,
several years ago.
mhm,
And I think about her every day. And I just wish you could have a little bit more time and a little bit more of a connection.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's
Yeah,
just I just wish people wouldn't take for granted. And yeah, they don't want to take the time. They want instant gratification
yeah. And
on
I
so
wish
many
also
things.
people could meet more often in person, like we do today.
Yes,
Yeah, and
yes.
connect and to look into each other's eyes, to feel. And what I notice also such a tendency in social media, people are so afraid of communication. From one side, they're searching for connection, they're searching for human warmth, they're so open when you just write few kind words, and at the same time, they're so afraid of that. I feel so much tension from people when I'm writing positive comments or compliments. I feel the tension on the other side because people are so afraid of that. You want something from them or you need something from them. I think this is a fear which is destroying our relationship. But I have a feeling that this is getting better now. Honestly, I
Do
think
you?
people are more and more open. They're opening their hearts, and I think one of the reasons actually that they're so tired of this, how to say, this virtual world. And I think we all seek for connection, for conversations. I hope that people will listen to our podcasts and interviews, because
Well,
this
I
is
hope so
like
too.
going deep into emotions, going deep into our feelings, and this is
I do. I'm glad you feel positive. Maybe I'm a little bit more cynical. Um, maybe they are coming out of that need for the virtual world, but the problem is they've been sort of embedded in it for so long they've forgotten how to
yeah,
interact. And that's kind of what I was saying about how they're stuck in their phones. They don't know how to interact on a human level. And I wonder what is the next generation? How are they going to um, meet someone to share their life with when they can't even hold a conversation?
Exactly.
Like they cannot. They're used to texting. They get frustrated if they don't get a text back because they or if they're speaking to you, they don't understand how to get a response back. They don't know how to
Yeah.
have that back and forth conversation. And I see them like this. I know some people of the generation just coming out of high school, just I think, how are you going to enter the work world? How are you going to interact with the public, with employers? You can barely string a sentence together. How are you going to meet someone to share your life with? How are you going to, how is the human race going to survive if
Mhm.
that doesn't happen? Because there'll be nobody having children. There'll be no, and
Yeah.
I maybe I don't want to get bogged down in that, but too much. But I do see a little bit of a concern that we are getting so much inside ourselves that we're losing the human
Mhm.
touch. That's kind of what I want to convey in my work, but I can't do that just from that. I mean,
That's why we're here. We're trying to connect to each other, and maybe through our conversation, more people, your friends, my friends, people who understand and also feel the same way. And I'm sure there are many, because I work with people and I also talk with people, and I know that all those concerns are there. But Warren, I want to make you another compliment about your work, about your photography, because I think the beauty in the eyes of the beholder, it's true, yeah. But I believe that beauty can heal almost instantly by just looking at your photos. This is how I feel, and I know that a lot of people do because I read comments under your work, under your photos. This is
not so
not
kind of.
this is not only about emotions, it's about psychological shock and stress in a positive way. You know, you see the picture or photo or a piece of art and you are healed almost instantly. That's what I believe
Wow.
strongly in. And your photos, especially black and white, they're bringing people in balance, first of all. You know, like this black and white, this really
Yeah, there's a
gives
simplicity
perfect,
to it.
absolute,
Pure.
pure uh, balance, pure harmony. And also your photos are hypnotizing, I would say. I'm a
Wow.
hypnotherapist myself. Yeah, I'm a certified hypnotherapist, and I know
Oh,
what
wow.
means hypnotherapy for people. Yeah, and to have a photo of photographer as a hypnotherapist online, this is absolutely amazing. And I know that even those people who are scrolling and see your photos, they're already getting your energy, you know. And we say
I hope
this is
so.
very,
I
very
mean,
important.
a lot of people obviously don't feel comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So that's my job one. And if sometimes I can see it if I don't achieve that, but then I feel like I failed. It's not their fault. It's my fault for not making them feel comfortable. That's job number one for me. So people don't like even me. As soon as you can talk to someone, as soon as you look at the camera, this camera lens in front of you, you freeze up. You think, oh, I've got to pose. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. And a lot of people don't believe that they look good, but there's beauty in everyone. And
Yeah.
I'd like to think I can find that beauty. So when they see the finished product and they see the image and they're like, that's me, that's wow,
They fall
I
in
hope
love with
that's how they feel.
themselves. Yeah.
Well, I hope so because you should, and don't be ashamed to fall in love with yourself.
I wanted to
Because
share with you my personal experience, and I wanted to ask
yes,
you a few questions as a
sure.
client from photographer. Lately, I had really a difficult period in my life, and I wanted also to make myself a present and to I hired a photographer, professional photographer here in Switzerland and also in Austria and in Kazakhstan. Also, I tried to heal myself. I thought maybe if I see
Mhm.
myself beautiful, more shining, you know, maybe I feel better. But with first photographer, I didn't like at all myself. I don't know what happened there. There was, I think, with something with light, with posture. So I felt myself that I look so artificial. Okay, I accepted, I paid for the photography, but I didn't like at all the job. But then I thought maybe it's just, you know, there's no chemistry or something didn't work out. Let's try again. So I tried another photographer here in Austria. Again, I hated myself, Warren, really, because I looked like a panda, honestly. Okay, I know I'm not 20 anymore, yeah, but still, you cannot make it should be more beautiful. Yeah, this is the purpose of art. You should see yourself more beautiful, not more uh how to say,
Panda-like.
not kind of like, yeah, but okay, I was just laughing at myself. I take it really easy. I'm very positive about myself, and I said, okay, maybe also not a good photographer. And number three was after 6 months. I said, okay, I prepared myself. It was really
You're
challenging.
not giving up.
No, I will try my best. I want to see myself beautiful again. Like I find myself attractive woman still.
Yes.
And again, it didn't work out. And every time I shared with photographers kindly my emotional state, and I said, honestly, I came here to heal myself and to heal my spirit, first of all, to heal my emotions. And you made me feel even worse. You made me feel even bad about myself. Shall we do something about it? Is this about me, or is this about photographer? How would you explain it? For example, if we had such situation with you, like you made your brilliant photographer photos, and I know you're good, I know you're professional, and I have no doubts you're good in what you do, but I don't like myself. How should we proceed? Shall we, or shall we leave it as it is? What would you say?
Well, obviously, you've come, if, let's say you've hired me, you've come to me for a reason.
Yeah.
So, yes, as long as you're comfortable to proceed, because that's
Hmm.
where it starts,
Yeah.
then we will proceed. But my approach has to be very delicate. I've got to really understand your state of mind.
Mm.
If I sense that you're fragile, I'm not going to make you feel sort of inadequate. Um, I'm not going to say, oh, that's beautiful, you're beautiful, because that doesn't sound genuine. But I have to understand what you're going through, and you've got to feel comfortable sharing that. And hopefully, I don't know the procedure of these other photographers. If you had a pre-meeting with them, discussions, but in those pre-discussions, I should already be finding out what your state of mind is. What is it you're hoping to achieve
Yeah.
from this? How is it you feel now, and how is it you want to feel by the end? And that is my job only, to help you get to that stage.
Yeah.
It's all about comfort. It's all about, if I sense discomfort, you need to say, look, maybe I'm not comfortable in that position, or fine, or that pose. That's fine. What, where would you like to start? And then emotionally, I mean, I have had people cry during a session, not because I was mean, but because they just they opened up, and that's fine. That's good.
Yeah.
That is cathartic. It lets out that emotion. And if you as a subject are comfortable letting that emotion out, and that's going to come out in the camera, that's going to be beautiful. Now, maybe we don't publish those, and that's fine. You can have those pictures. I don't need to do anything with them unless you give permission.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you don't have to feel insecure that, oh my God, I'm bearing my soul, and this guy's going to take advantage and do this, that, and the other. No, it's you have control. You are the one that has to say, we agree upon that beforehand. But also in the session, you have control of. I always say that the subject has control of when I click the shutter, because you are showing me who you are. And when I see that, that's when I take the picture.
Mm.
And that's when I take the picture. And that's when I take the picture. So it should all be very natural. But you say, how do I deal with it? Well, the trust has to be built right from the start, from the first phone call, from the first Zoom meeting,
Mm.
from the first email, even. You've got to feel comfortable, and then we slowly build and build and build on that foundation of trust. And as long as you trust me, I won't let you down.
Yeah. Thank you so
I
much for
think
sharing.
I hope that answers it for you.
Absolutely. And honestly, I took it very positive for myself. And I now, myself as a psychologist, I think the photography is the best psychotherapy ever. If anybody wants to see themselves through the eyes of the photographer, of course, it's better to have a professional always, but we cannot be always beautiful. And we see ourselves through the eyes of other people. So when you see yourself
Yeah.
beautiful, this is very interesting thing. If you see yourself beautiful, then you're happy with yourself emotionally. If you see yourself not so good, then this is the
Well,
question: why? Yeah, why do you feel this
well,
way?
then,
Yeah,
if I can just elaborate a bit
yeah,
on the
exactly.
previous question, um, if your goal was to help you feel better about yourself,
Yeah,
let's say, then I want to find out what is it that makes you feel good. What's a good day for you? What's a
yeah,
good experience? What's a good exchange? And I'll put them through scenarios like what tell me about your someone close to you. Tell me about a pet even that makes you feel joy, if that's the motion you're looking for. Tell me about an experience. So, or even professionally, what is it that gives you pride? Like if it's a corporate shoot, even if something as simple as a corporate headshot, you get people trundling in on the assembly line, but I don't want that. I want to know, why do you do what you do? Why are you in this position? What is a good day for you? What gives you pride about who you are and
yeah.
what you do? Because a lot of jobs, people just do them because it pays the bills.
Hmm.
But you should have pride in what you do. You should do it because it gives you not a sense of purpose, but a sense of satisfaction on some level.
Yeah,
So I want to bring that out. What is it? And then I'll find it out and I will think about that. Think about, put yourself in that frame of mind, that situation, that scenario, and you'll see the face change. You'll see the expression change. And you don't even have to tell me.
hmm.
If it's something too personal, too intimate, don't tell me. The camera
Will
is
show.
your friend, your
Exactly.
lover, your confidant, your pet, whatever brings you joy. And you connect with the camera and you're telling, and the eyes is, it's always the story through the
Mm.
eyes. So,
True, true. Thank you. And I'm very often asked, what do you sell? And I always say I sell the magic, the end result, as you said. Yeah, at the end, the person should see or feel differently. This is the most important. So that you
yes,
should
I
ask the
hope so.
person, what is our goal and how do you feel at the end? This is about emotional touch. But Warren, I want to ask you here, with all this artificial intelligence, technology, and everything, how do you see photographers nowadays, or the role of the photographers because there are a lot, there are plenty of photographers, brilliant photographers,
Too
too
many
many
photos.
professionals. Yeah, and as I said, like I was just going through the
Yeah,
pages and selecting, but how would you position a good photographer in this world of the different technology and different professionals? And how would you
that's
say,
easy.
who is a good photographer in your mind, or in your
Well,
opinion?
I am a pure example of the fact that anyone can learn the technical aspects of
Mm.
photography. Because as I said, I couldn't, it was too dense for me before, or I was too dense to take it in.
Yeah,
But when I did, that you get the technical basis. But what sets you apart, what sets a good photographer apart is the emotional connection. Hopefully, AI will never be able to sort of imitate that because it is that connection. And that's why I worry that the corporate photography and the assembly line, not necessarily corporate, because there's a lot of corporate photographers that do want to make connections with people. They do sort of focus their business on that. But if you're just sort of trundling people in, click, trundling people in, click,
yeah,
I mean, there's already AI programs that will take a selfie and make a
yeah.
decent core, and that is in danger of being
Mm.
overtaken.
Yeah,
So where we can hold on to it is the personal connection. It's the only way we can hold on to it. And maybe we're whistling in the dark. Maybe we're just kind of putting off the inevitable. Doesn't matter. We have to do what we do. I recently posted, or just today actually posted a reel on Instagram, and I said that one day, in a not too distant future, uh, a desperate actor will travel across a post-apocalyptic wasteland in search of the one photographer that can take a powerful headshot. And I said, I will be that crusty old hermit living in a cave with his foot camera who will take that picture because I still will bring that human touch. I
Yeah,
know it sounds cliche, I know it sounds corny. Oh, I bring the human touch. Yes, but it's true
it's true.
because without that, the machines have won.
I don't know if you feel it, but I always feel when the machine made a content or when it's a human made. I always feel it. And I believe that humans feel it too.
You
Like
can see it.
deep
You can
deep thinkers and deep those who feel still have feelings, those people who still have feelings, not a robot. I don't mean robots in a human bodies, but I think we feel it when this is made by human and when it's made by a robot. And
Yeah, and
you
I
don't feel
think for a lot
anything.
of
Yeah.
you don't feel anything. I think for a lot of applications that can be good enough.
Yeah.
Fine. If it's a
Yeah.
tiny little
Yeah.
LinkedIn headshot, whatever, that's fine. But yeah, you do notice it to the point where some photographers are even sort of because AI portraits are too perfect. So there a lot of photographers are leaving imperfections in their work. So because
Absolutely. Yeah.
sometimes you'll look at a photographer, a real photographer's work, and say, nah, that's got to be AI, right? So they want to leave some perfections in to prove, no, 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 that's real.
Yeah.
And it's sad that we've gotten to that point, but maybe we're getting to a point where no, real matters. Real images matter.
And those little imperfections makes us perfectly fine and more close to
Yes,
God and
because
make
we
us
are all,
creators. Yeah, because we
yeah,
are
we are
natural.
all
Yeah, yeah,
imperfect. I
absolutely.
mean, I'm
Yeah.
not even looking at myself on camera because I know there's full of imperfections.
Yeah, but
But
we are close to God in our imperfection, I think, because we are real. We are made by Him, by Creator, you know. So I think
they,
being a creator means being able to accept your own imperfections and also accept other people's imperfections, and together in this human connection aspire to be better, but not
and
to
it keeps
try.
you humble,
Yeah, absolutely,
and
absolutely.
that's the
Yeah,
humility is
yeah.
good.
And I really like what you said, that with every photo you tell the story. And this is exactly
Mhm.
what I see in your photos and your work. Every photo triggers so much emotions in me, you know, like I always write something under your photos because
Well,
I'm
I
interested. Who
know.
is this? Who is this person? And you know, like then I start searching after you post something and you just give a tag to the person who is your
Or
client.
you search
I
out the
search,
person
I
who
spend another
the
20,
subject.
30 minutes to look, who is this
Wow.
person? What is he doing? I'm interested. And this is really amazing because nobody else work is triggering in me such desire to learn more about other human being who is, I don't know, in Toronto, in wherever in Canada. I have nothing to do with those people, but I'm interested. And then I do my research and I search and I find my answers on my own questions somewhere on other pages. You know, that's
I
for
wish there
sure.
were more people like you. I don't know. Maybe there are, but they're not saying anything.
There are, yeah, trust me. And I think this is what makes us humans and makes us real, interesting people. Also, people who trigger in us desires to do something, to do interview, to do podcast, to do a new photo or something. People trigger in us those emotions and feelings.
Yeah, and that's sort of a side thing.
Yeah,
I've done one
energy.
interview so
Yeah,
far.
yeah,
Yes,
energy.
I've done one interview so far with a well-known photographer.
Yeah,
I want to do more because I enjoyed that process of getting to know someone, getting to
yeah,
know what drives them, what are their motivations,
yeah,
and it was a fascinating experience. It was fun. Um, I am by nature an introvert, whereas I would like, but you have to over the years you just have to break out of that,
yeah.
and then you become the thing you've been pretending to be, the
Mm.
extrovert. So I people don't believe me that I'm an introvert, but my natural resting state is sort of to be quiet
Yeah,
and
yeah.
as I say, I'm an observer. But I do like to talk. You've been great to talk to
Thank you.
because there's so much passion. And like I say, if somebody who's working with you to just even just to make them feel better about themselves, you've got such a good way.
Thank you.
Um, and I really appreciate everything you've shown in your comments and your posts and your because again, being a little cynical, you can think, well, she's just being polite. She's just being polite. They're just, but from what you just said, that you took it a step further and you're going to look into the people I'm
Yeah,
photographing. That's wonderful to hear that it has that
Well, Warren,
impact.
I'm 48 years old, and it takes a lot of
You don't
energy
look
to
it.
pretend. To be honest, I was polite maybe first 25 years of my life, very nice, kind girl. But then, you get tired of pretending, of being
Was
not.
there one trigger point that said, I'm not going to do that anymore?
I think, yeah, there was a health issues, health problems, and I think we all go through this transitional period when we change. We change to
Mm.
better. We all should be better than ourselves, than before. But I want to thank you for this beautiful interview, and I can share with you that I'm myself introverted introvert, and when people ask me how do you go public, I said, well, actually, my interest to people made me come here, and I write to people, I ask questions, and I'm really really doing my scientific research as a psychologist, about how to become a better human myself and how to help other people also to be more human. This is what I feel I should do, and I hope that we did something good with this interview
I
together
hope so. I
today.
hope people
Yeah,
watch it because
I'm
I
I'm
feel,
absolutely sure, even if there will be few people watching it and enjoying our conversation, I really enjoyed time with you, Warren. Thank you. I can
well, I hope this
meet
isn't
with
the end. I
you again.
mean,
No, not at
yeah,
all. I'm
sure,
sure we will do it occasionally. Let's do it
sure.
occasionally. Yeah, and one
And
day I'll become your client as well as a
oh, well, I was going to say that when you said you were looking at, three different photographers, I thought, oh my
yeah,
God, why
yeah,
isn't she here? I
yeah,
want people like that
yeah.
to seek me out.
And I
But
like experimenting also, I like to travel somewhere to make new photos, to meet new people.
Toronto,
Yeah, Toronto, or you come to UK or to Europe. So it doesn't matter where we met in this world, in this universe, our path crossed. And I'm absolutely grateful to God, to the universe for this meeting today, for this interview, which we're recording.
it
From your
was
permission, I will share on my YouTube channel, and also you can share it
absolutely
on your YouTube channel. I'm sure we have time setting because I don't want to also overload people with information. But my
right.
last
No.
question, just as a closure of this interview, if you want people to remember this interview, what it would be in your mind now? What do you want people to take from this interview?
Well,
The most important.
I hope they take that two people who, what, 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
didn't know one another, have now connected and have created this space where we discuss something very real. And and the core of that discussion was about connecting with other people around you, whether it's through photography, whether it's through counseling, whatever it might be. I hope people realize that the human connection is I won't say it's the way forward. That sounds a bit sort of corny, but it is the way to better sort of a future, maybe.
For
Not
our
even maybe not.
evolution, I think the human touch.
Yeah, it depends on it. It
Yeah.
depends on it. So I
Communication,
hope
communication.
communication, and I hope they take that human connection
Yeah, yeah.
away
And
with them.
I also, when I saw your video, you tagged, I think you pinned one video of you. I was watching you.
Sure.
And
Oh yeah, yeah.
when I was also watching your video, you introducing yourself, I also felt immediately your aura, your energy. And that's how I decided to write you in
I
person.
hope I have a nice
Yeah,
aura.
absolutely beautiful, healing. And thank you so much,
Yeah.
Lauren. Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you. You've got a
Yeah.
fantastic energy, and it's been
We stay
wonderful
in
to talk to
touch. Yeah,
you.
we stay in
Yeah,
touch as always.
absolutely.
Hopefully, I know some people I know for many years, but I hope this is not our last conversation. Maybe our one of many. Yeah, and I encourage and invite people to become your clients, or also you interview people online as well for your YouTube
Sure. Yeah,
channel.
yeah.
Yeah, and I see that you're a great psychologist as well, psychotherapist. For
Um,
me, it was absolutely healing podcast as well. Thank you so
oh,
much.
thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you,
Have a
Assel.
great day and stay with me for a moment.